Hi everyone, my name is Daniela Lopez and I'm a senior here at Brown. I'm double concentrating in psychology and visual arts, so if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. And I just wanted to take a moment today before my presentation to thank you guys for allowing me to be here, for allowing me to use some of your time to present to you this very powerful resource that I think we have here in the States to be able to enact global and social change, right? So for starters, we're going to do a quick show of hands with some questions that I'm going to ask. Now I just want to let you know that if you want to participate, please participate, and if you don't want to either, that's okay as well. What I do ask of you, however, if you choose not to participate, is that you at least think about these questions and how they relate to you and your experiences in with the educational system, or how they relate to people that you know. All right, so our first question is for today: how many of you are familiar with the saying, people may forget what you say to them, but never how you make them feel? Okay, so I see that's most of us. If you hadn't heard the saying, it's totally fine. It's absolutely okay, because the most important thing here today is that you're listening to it now, or you've heard it now. So I really want you guys to take this saying and to use it to be able to reflect on and understand the next two questions that I'll be asking you. So without further ado, the second question is, about to get real up in here. How many of us have had a really negative experience with a teacher in a classroom? Maybe, for example, just to give you guys a few examples, maybe you had like an instance or a kind of relationship where you felt disconnected to the teacher because, they didn't really try to understand you, or they didn't really try to relate to you, or, didn't really see, what you had difficulty with a certain material and didn't really help you learn it, or feel confident in the classroom. Or maybe they didn't really seem to care about providing you a very clear lesson, or really set up any kind of expectations for success. Or at least in the case that you haven't experienced this yourself, or in the case that you haven't gone through these things, or had these kinds of teachers, think about maybe someone who was close to you who had this kind of relationship, and as a result maybe now doesn't really have the same passion for learning, or doesn't really value their education the way that they should, despite the enormous amounts of potential that they have to really do well, to really take off with their education and accomplish the things that they plan and dream for themselves. Right? So I see a show of hands. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for giving that. Answering to that question. I know it can be a little bit difficult, but we're going to go on to a better part, and we're going to go on to the second question. Now, for the opposite, how many of us in this room have had at least one great teacher who has touched us for the rest of our lives, and who maybe someone who you're still communicating with and you still keep in touch with, and let them know, what you're doing and what your accomplishments are and all the great things that you've been going on in your life and all this stuff, right? It's one incredibly amazing teacher who unconditionally loved you, unconditionally believed in you, made you see not only the potential that you have, but also all of the possibilities for your bright and incredible future, right? I think that given that we are here at Brown, there's probably going to be more of us, right, that have had amazing teachers, because if it weren't for them, we really wouldn't have this passion and love for learning. And also think, teachers are not necessarily always the ones in the classroom. Maybe sometimes they're some mentor that you have in your life, some coach or something like that, or maybe a parent or a cousin who was really focused and dedicated on your development. But obviously the most important case would be teachers, because they're in the classroom and you're spending most of your time with them growing up. But yeah, so I can definitely attest to both of these experiences here. Just to give a little bit of a personal background about myself, I am a first-generation college student. None of my parents went to college. And I grew up in a low-income community as well. And I can honestly say that if it weren't for my teachers throughout my whole entire educational, experience, from elementary school to middle school to high school, I really wouldn't be here today, because my home life wasn't necessarily very great. So I would go to school, and they just made sure that school was a place where I would feel comfortable and I would feel safe and I would feel valued and cared for, because they were invested in my education. They were invested in making sure that I learned the material and that I, really fulfill all of the expectations that they had set for me, and as well as all the potential that I had as a person and as a student in the classroom. In fact, if it wasn't for my teacher in the 11th grade who told me about Brown, I wouldn't be here today. I had no idea what Brown was. I didn't know it existed as an institution. I didn't know about open curriculum, none of that. Until the 11th grade, when my English teacher sat me down and he was just like, Daniela, you are a really great student. I think that you're really talented, and I think that Brown would be a good choice and a good fit for you, and I really think that you should consider it. And, if you don't really know much about the school, look up some stuff on the internet, and here are the resources. So, I still communicate with them. I still keep in touch with them. And, again, I always, give them recognition for my accomplishments here, because I wouldn't have been able to do it alone, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for them. So, right. So that's a bit of my personal story. But, now, let's think about what we've seen amongst ourselves, right? With our participation. I think it's fair to say that teachers have just this incredibly profound impact in our lives, right? They're individuals who influence us in very deep ways, who make us aspire to be better, who motivate us, who, again, as I said, make us believe in ourselves, or maybe not, and maybe do the complete opposite, right? And the experiences that we have with them are experiences that we never forget, right? Just as they're saying. And unfortunately, it is a reality in our country that not everyone gets access to a quality education or quality teachers. And unfortunately, this is often related to reasons that are tied to socioeconomic status and race. And just to give you a fact or a concrete statistic about, what this impact or what the situation looks like in low-income communities, I'll say that 1 in 3 low-income high school students in these communities end up dropping out before it's their time to graduate, and sometimes they can be really close to that finish line, but again, because of their experiences within the educational system, they just haven't had the support to be able to, commit to the decision of staying in. And it's really unfortunate, right? Because if we start thinking about all of the things that are going on in our country, all of the social issues that are starting to surface, and all of the change that we want to enact in our world, because we see that our society is still not the way that we envision it, or the way that we portray it to be, or wish it to be, this is a problem. This is a serious problem, because a large portion of our population, people who matter, actual individuals who exist and who matter and who can make a difference in our world, are not receiving the education that they deserve and that they're entitled to, right? All because of what? All because of their zip code and the color of their skin. And now, all hope isn't lost. I'm going to say that, because this is where Teach for America comes in, right? So, in a nutshell, Teach for America is an organization that helps fight against this educational inequity and systemic inequity by placing well-qualified college graduates in classrooms of low-income communities, right? Now, we do this. We pick college graduates because we think that they have leadership skills, we think that they have motivation, we think that they have backgrounds and the resources to be able to do great in the classrooms. So in a nutshell, it is a 2-year commitment that you can do all across the United States. We serve 52 regions from Hawaii to Oklahoma to Louisiana. So you can choose where you want to go to help make a difference, and whether or not it's back in your home state or it's somewhere completely new, because you want to immerse yourself in there, you want to learn, and want to help make a difference. So that's definitely one of the things that we do here at TFA, is we give you the choice to be able to go anywhere you wish. You also get full salary benefits, a teaching certification from your state, and the opportunity to get a master's if you wish. we definitely have some ties to some institutions, and you can get a master's in education if you're interested in that. And ultimately, and I would say maybe the most important thing that you have as a resource is an invaluable connection to 50,000 alumni who are all amazing and incredible people who have served in the Corps and are still dedicated to that educational mission, whether it's immediately in the classroom or, by far in their career paths that are not necessarily related to education, like, law, administration, medicine, finance, but at the same time, they find critical and really significant ways to be able to incorporate the mission into their work and make sure that our society is more of an equitable and just place. So that being said, we take people from all majors and from all, who have all different kinds of interests with a minimum of a 2.5 GPA, who do demonstrate leadership skills and qualities, as well as commitment to an organization and organization skills. Because based off of research that has been done, we've found that, regardless of kind of your formal training of being a teacher, these qualities, leadership, organization, and commitment are all really incredibly important and significant in determining whether or not a teacher will be successful in the classroom. So the reason why we do this and the reason why we love having people from all different majors, from all different backgrounds, with various forms of identities or various identifications is because we love to have a very diverse and multifaceted group of people within our Corps who'll be able to serve and provide a variety of needs and resources to our children in low-income communities. People who'll be able to open the world to these kids and let them see, all the possibilities, all the things that there are, help them learn about others, help them develop tolerance and acceptance, and all these really important qualities that we need to be able to create the society that we envision, right? So that being said, Teach for America really is an opportunity to make a real and immediate impact, not just in the classroom, but in the daily lives of the students that you serve, because you are going to go right into those communities, you're going to go right into those schools with, good training, good preparation, and you're going to be there for your students, and you're going to be teaching them. You're going to be teaching them not only, the educational material that is required, but also you're just going to be teaching them about life and about all of these important things that there are to, accomplishing your goals and accomplishing your visions and making it through even when there's a system in place that may not always work with helping you achieve those goals. So if you're interested in learning more about the Corps, about what our values are, about what our mission is, as well as our initiatives, because we have several different initiatives that involve, diversity in our Corps, that involve different learning styles in our Corps, as well as different, supporting different sexual orientations and minority identities, please feel free to write your names on these cards and I'll pass them out. You can keep them, but you can also keep in touch by shooting me an email. Don't be afraid to communicate with me, even if it's just like one simple question, or a need for more resources. Let me know, and I'll make sure to provide you with those resources as soon as possible, because I want you guys to know how great the Corps is and how great TFA is, and I just want to be able to provide you guys with those resources so you can see for yourselves. But again, thank you so much for allowing me to be here, and thank you so much for giving me your time and your attention, and I hope that, today you guys definitely gained something very important about this experience, not only learning about TFA, but also, realizing the importance of education and the importance of educational equity in our strive to really make this world a better place. But thank you, and have a good day all.